The Arizona Cardinals are completely melting down right now, and it has opened the door for a blockbuster trade that could completely alter the trajectory of our entire defensive front. Rumors are absolutely exploding across the league that star edge rusher Josh Sweat is deeply unhappy with his situation in the desert, sitting out of critical offseason workouts, and looking for a one-way ticket to a legitimate contender. If our front office plays their cards right, we could be on the verge of landing a massive defensive weapon to pair directly with Montez Sweat without having to surrender an arm and a leg in draft capital. If you want to stay ahead of the game with completely free, daily coverage on everything happening with our squad through every single trade rumor and free agency signing, hit that like button, share this video with your fellow fans, and subscribe to the channel right now to help us reach our massive milestone. Could we really be about to witness the birth of the most terrifying defensive line pairing in the entire National Football League? When you stop and look at the landscape of our defense, the need for a consistent, high-impact pass rusher opposite our current stars is the one missing piece keeping this unit from becoming an absolute powerhouse. Think about the sheer chaos of having a dual sweat pass rush coming off both edges, completely suffocating opposing quarterbacks and forcing hurried throws every single Sunday. The financial side of this potential blockbuster deal makes too much sense for the front office to ignore because any team trading for him would only inherit a highly affordable $12.6 million cap hit for the upcoming season. That is an absolute steal for a proven edge defender who has consistently shown he can disrupt game plans and get after the quarterback at an elite level. It represents a completely low-risk, high-reward scenario for our franchise because there is absolutely no guaranteed money left on his contract after this year, giving our front office total flexibility to pivot next offseason or sign him to a long-term extension if he completely tears up the field in our system. When you look at his track record, the durability alone is something that should have our coaching staff incredibly excited about making a move. He has been remarkably reliable throughout his career, barely missing any games over the last several seasons due to injury, which is a massive contrast to some of the volatile options currently floating around the free agent market. Furthermore, he has proven his worth by consistently racking up major sack production while playing across entirely different defensive schemes and adapting to multiple coaching staffs. He found major success early on with the Philadelphia Eagles, even securing a Super Bowl championship ring, which proves he knows exactly what it takes to win at the highest level and bring a championship pedigree into our locker room. But ever since he signed that massive contract with the Cardinals, things have completely deteriorated around him. Arizona is entering a massive, painful multi-year rebuild. Their coaching staff has been completely overhauled, and keeping an elite veteran pass rusher on their roster completely goes against their current timeline for competition. They are miles away from winning anything meaningful, and a player of his caliber simply does not want to waste the prime years of his career playing for a basement dweller that is searching for its identity. Time for our controversial question of the day. Would you be willing to trade a premium third-round draft pick right now to bring Josh Sweat to our defense? Or do you think the front office should stand pat and trust the young guys we already have on the roster? Drop your thoughts, your ideal trade packages, and your exact predictions in the comments section below right now and let your voice be heard. From every possible angle, the Cardinals are in a position where they almost have to move him before his trade value begins to plummet. His value in the trade market will never be higher than it is right now, coming off highly productive seasons where he served as the focal point of the opposing offense's blocking schemes. If Arizona holds onto him through a miserable season, they risk losing him for next to nothing or watching his production dip as frustration mounts. For our front office, this is the exact type of market inefficiency that smart teams exploit to vault themselves into the postseason conversation. We should immediately pick up the phone and offer a mid-round draft pick, or even get creative by offering to take on or swap underperforming assets to help clear out a crowded position room. A regular defensive rotation featuring Montez Sweat, Josh Sweat, and an ascending, highly explosive young piece like Austin Booker would suddenly elevate our defensive front from a massive question mark into a legitimate top 10 unit in football. It allows our defensive coordinator to get highly creative with blitz packages, keeps our edge rushers completely fresh heading into the fourth quarter, and ensures that opposing offensive coordinators cannot simply double-team our best player without paying a massive price on the opposite side. But a potential blockbuster trade for an edge rusher isn't the only place where the front office is looking to make some major waves before training camp officially kicks off. The front office is also actively hunting for secondary depth, hosting two highly intriguing free agent cornerbacks on back-to-back days to inject some serious competition into our defensive backfield. First up on the visit list was Nazeeh Johnson, a former 7th-round draft pick who managed to carve out a role and secure a Super Bowl ring as a vital depth piece for the Kansas City Chiefs. He brings elite special teams value and incredible athletic upside to the table, but he has unfortunately fought through massive injury hurdles over the past 2 seasons, including a torn ACL that completely derailed his momentum. Our medical staff is undoubtedly doing their due diligence, checking out his recovery to see if he can recapture that explosive depth potential that made him a favorite in Kansas City. Right after he left the building, the team immediately brought in veteran cornerback Sam Webb for an extensive workout. Webb is a massive, highly physical outside corner who originally entered the league as an undrafted free agent with the Raiders before bouncing around the league with stints in Carolina, Tennessee, and Cleveland. He offers the exact type of raw grit, size, and press coverage ability needed to excel in a backup defensive role and provide a safety net for our starting cornerbacks. The fact that the front office is hosting these defensive backs on consecutive days is a crystal clear signal that the coaching staff is simply not satisfied with the current bottom of the roster depth. This urgency comes especially after the team had to make the tough decision to move on from underperforming young draft picks earlier in the offseason, leaving our training camp roster looking a little thin at the boundary positions. When you are building a true contender, you cannot rely solely on your top-tier superstars to carry the load through a grueling 17-game season. Injuries are an inevitable part of the game, and championships are often won or lost based on the quality of your backup units. With training camp right around the corner, adding a battle-tested veteran who can instantly step up on special teams, understand complex defensive coverages, and fill in seamlessly during an injury crisis is exactly how smart franchises protect their depth chart. It creates an environment where no one can afford to take a day off, pushing every single young player on the roster to earn their spot. Stay completely locked in with us as we track whether the front office pulls the trigger on a massive defensive trade for an edge rusher or secures these crucial secondary pieces in the days ahead.